The Palawan massacre occurred on December 14, 1944, during World War II, near the city of Puerto Princesa in the Philippine province of Palawan. Allied soldiers, imprisoned near the city, were killed by Imperial Japanese soldiers. Only 11 men managed to survive. In order to prevent the rescue of prisoners of war by the advancing Allies, on December 14, 1944, units of the Japanese 14th Area Army under the command of General Tomoyuki Yamashita brought the POWs back to their own camp. An air raid warning was sounded to get the prisoners into the shelter trenches. The 150 prisoners of war at Puerto Princesa entered those trenches, and the Japanese soldiers set them on fire using barrels of gasoline. Prisoners who tried to escape the flames were shot down by machine gun fire. Others attempted to escape by climbing over a cliff that ran along one side of the trenches, but were later hunted down and killed. Only 11 men escaped the slaughter, 139 were killed. Those that did escape to southern Palawan, and eventual rescue, were aided by Filipino scouts and guerrillas under the command of Nazario Mayer. The incident sparked a series of POW rescue campaigns by the U.S., such as the raid at Cabanatuan on January 30, 1945, the raid at Santo Tomas internment camp on February 3, 1945, the raid of Bilibid prison on February 4, 1945, and raid at Los Baños on February 23, 1945. It was the testimony of survivor Private First Class Eugene Nielsen that convinced the U.S. military to embark on a campaign to save the POWs in the Philippines in 1945. In 2006, Nielsen was interviewed again by Jeffrey Panos on behalf of the University of Utah. After the war, survivors Glenn McDowell and Doug Bogue helped the U.S. War Crimes Branch identify former guards and officers detained in Sugamo Prison and interrogated in Tokyo's Daiichi building. Of the 33 charged with war crimes, 16 were put on trial, and 6 were acquitted. Those found guilty on November 8, 1948 included Lieutenant General Seiichi Terada, sentenced to a life term, Master Sergeant Taichi Deguchi, sentenced to be hanged but later commuted to a 30-year sentence by General Douglas MacArthur, Superior Private Tamai Sawa, sentenced to 5 years, Head Cook Manichi Nishitani, sentenced to 5 years, Lieutenant General Kiso Mikama, sentenced to 12 years, and Lieutenant Colonel Mamoru Fushimi, sentenced to 10 years, while the remaining 4 were sentenced to 2 to 5 years. However, on December 31, 1958, all those remaining in prison were freed under a general amnesty for Japanese war crimes prisoners.